Good afternoon. I will be talking about how Polish youngsters use social media, social networks. I will present results of research that has been mentioned by Kasia. It's EUNet ADB, implemented by No One's Children Foundation 2 years ago. I will also mention Megapanel, PPI, and other research, Professor Peszalski's, for example, described in the book titled Cyberbullying and Digital Aggression. Why did I title my presentation, "You're not on Facebook, then you don't exist"? I was inspired by a 15-year-old girl who told me that she doesn't know anyone who is not on Facebook. She thought everyone has an account on Facebook, and she told me a story about her friend in London who said that, well, I have a new girlfriend, and she said, well, send me a link to her Facebook profile so I can take a look at it. And the colleague said, I cannot send you a link to her profile because she doesn't have a Facebook profile. And this girl thought, okay, this girlfriend probably doesn't even exist if she doesn't have a Facebook profile, which later proved to be true. And in the eyes of this girl, this only proved her point that everyone is on Facebook. Looking at the quantitative research results, is it really so that so many people use social networks or social media? According to our research amongst youngsters, the third most popular activity on the internet is visiting social networks. There is a difference between boys and girls. It turns out, if you look at teenage girls, the first activity they indicate is social networks. 87% of girls said that they visit social networks at least once a week. And when we think of people who visit social networks every day, this is 2/3 of teenagers, of young people. You can see two diagrams on this slide, and they indicate two age groups, 7-14 and 15-24, and the prevalence of the use of Facebook amongst these groups. We can see that the reach of Facebook is rather wide, especially amongst the older internet users. What is interesting, when we asked young people in 2012 as to whether they have accounts on social networks, 90% had at least one profile on some social network. 78% declared that they have an account on Facebook, and almost 75% said that they have an account on Nasza Klasa. And going back to the previous slide, what you can see here is a change. There is a bigger difference between Facebook and Nasza Klasa over time. This is data of 2013, which is more up to date, which confirms information we got from the interviews. Young people told us that they gradually move from one social network to another, and in this case, from Nasza Klasa to Facebook. They call it migration. Other people said we are moving. One friend appeared on Facebook, then another one, and everyone seemed to be on Facebook, so gradually all the other friends moved. And they also said that if there is a new social network, they'd have no problem moving their profiles to this new network if it is good and interesting. People say that they visit internet social networks, but how much do they spend logged on? Well, it was very difficult to get this information because they check their profiles very often. They do not sit for hours looking at the computer screen logged onto Facebook. So they open their account to see what happened every now and then. A lot depends on whether it is a normal weekday or a weekend or holidays. It turns out that more than every other person spends over 2 hours on Facebook or another social network during non-school days. Almost half of the young people stay as long on social networks during school days. It seems that girls spend much more time on social networks than boys do. When there is no school, 2/3 of our respondents who were girls spend more than 2 hours on Facebook or other social networks. So what is so attractive about Facebook or Nasza Klasa or other social networks? Why do young people use them? Well, they give different reasons. And what we were able to find out is to maintain contacts with others. And this is not only contacts with people we do not see on a daily basis. These could be our classmates that we see every day. I remember one of the boys saying that he is approached by a friend during a break and he's busy and he says, well, write it to me on Facebook. I'll deal with it later. Just send me a Facebook message. So it's easier for him to communicate via Facebook than to waste time during the break between lessons. Another reason is curiosity. People want to see whether someone has posted a new video, a new photograph, a new post. So young people are encouraged to check quite frequently to see what's happening on Facebook. Making new contacts, meeting people. Young people say that these new contacts, meeting people, this was not really contacting people they've never seen or met. These are often people from the same school that they do not know personally. One of the girls said that it is easier to become someone's Facebook friend, to send an invite to an older student, to ask whether they already had a test in a given subject or so on and so forth. And that would start off a contact. Another reason given by young people was the fact that Facebook is serving as a source of information on different issues. We often heard that you can find out interesting things about your school friends when using Facebook. You know, who's dating someone, who's broken up with someone else. And this is things that young people find interesting. Other topics were slightly more serious. Young people want to find out more about their hobbies. They can deepen their knowledge thanks to social networks. They also do their homework on Facebook. For example, they create a class group and then they work together trying to do their homework, helping one another.
Daje taką możliwość.
Facebook makes it possible to take part in social life or in the life of a community. One of the boys said that he's a Boy Scout and he kept forgetting the dates and times of the meetings, and someone advised him, well, please log on to Facebook, create a profile, and then subscribe to your Scout organization, and then you'll receive information about the dates and times of meetings. Other people find out about different events, concerts, recommended by friends, and so on and so forth. Social networks are not only beneficial to young people. We have to keep in mind the fact that it it is possible for young people to encounter threats while online or while using social networks. The EU-NET ADB and the book of Professor Peżalski both indicate that, for example, posting comments that are derogatory on someone's wall or defamation, negative comments under videos or photographs. Exclusion is another threat. If someone is not accepted as a friend after an invitation is sent, for example, you can create a group and not allow someone to become a member or block someone. This person would not see new posts, new information, and feels excluded. Other threat would be, apart from negative comments, you can also post unwanted content such as photographs or videos. You can create false profiles. And I remember a story of two girls who swapped passwords to the social network sites, and when they fought, they used each other's profiles in order to annoy them. So to begin with, they trusted each other, and when they fell out, it turned out that they wanted to harm each other. And as for the length of time spent online, logged onto social networks by young people, it is also connected with some social and psychological problems. We have users who spend less than 2 hours logged on to social networks, and other users who spend more than 2 hours. And we can see anxiety, depression, psychosomatic problems, social integration problems, attention deficit, maladjustment, aggressive behavior. And there is a scale to internalize those problems and to externalize those problems, and we also have an overall scale. Looking at the average of points scored, and the average is always higher amongst those users who use social networks in a very intense manner. Thank you.